rich, giving to the poor, and somehow keeping his tunic wrinkle-free while living in a forest. Sounds great, doesn't it? Almost too great. That's because the Robin Hood we know, the dashing rebel hero who spouts one-liners while dodging arrows in slow motion, is about 90% literary invention and 10% actual medieval tax drama. But here's the fun part. Someone like Robin Hood probably did exist. Or rather, several someones. Records from the 13th and 14th centuries mention men with suspiciously hoodish names, Robehod, Hobahod, and variations like Robertus Hoodus, often listed as criminals or fugitives. And by criminals, we mean people who may have just skipped out on taxes, poached a deer, or looked at the local sheriff funny. None of them robbed banks or hosted socialist banquets under oak trees. But they were outlaws in the literal sense, cast outside the law, surviving on wit, bows, and a deep mistrust of authority. Over time, their stories merged into a composite legend, like a medieval version of fan fiction. If that fan fiction also involved lots of stabbing and plague. The earliest ballads about Robin Hood aren't exactly Disney-friendly either. In the 14th century versions, Robin is violent, short-tempered, and disturbingly fond of murdering monks. Maid Marian doesn't even make an appearance until later. And Friar Tuck, he'd sooner throw you in a pond than listen to your sins. Still, the legend evolved. By the time of the Tudors, Robin Hood had morphed into a cheerful rogue with a heart of gold and suspiciously modern values about wealth redistribution. Because nothing says medieval England like 16th century political spin, was there a real Robin Hood? Probably not one single person. But the conditions that birthed the myth, corrupt officials, hungry peasants, and forests just begging for cinematic lighting, were very real. When you hear Black Knight, you probably picture some brooding guy in dented armour, sulking in the shadows, monologuing about vengeance while lightning cracks behind him. Basically, a medieval Batman with worse dental hygiene. But in actual medieval history, the Black Knight wasn't a cackling villain or an edgy character from a Monty Python sketch. It was a real title, or at least a nickname with some surprisingly respectable roots. Black Knight usually referred to knights who either wore black armour, had a black coat of arms, or were associated with a noble family's dark-coloured livery. That's it. No necromancy, no soul harvesting, no dramatic declarations like, "You shall not pass." In fact, many Black Knights were just regular nobles trying to coordinate their